Hello, everybody. I am ridiculously excited to go live with you guys today because I'm uber prepared for today's corporate caffeine because today is part one of, get ready, a 5 week, 5 week series, which is pretty crazy because you guys know I love to talk ex what's that word? Extra, I cannot remember. Anyways, I love to talk off the cuff. I love to share my experiences and my stories. I love following curiosity. I love amazing conversation. And that has a lot to do with serendipity and just being in the moment. And I thought, you know what? I've been getting a lot of really, really amazing questions from you guys, from prospective clients, from current clients. And I want to share what we're doing for some people and what we're advising and teaching in order to help other people accelerate their individual financial prosperity as well as their business growth, because this is my passion, bringing you corporate caffeine and just fueling your business journey. And so that's why I want to do this. So first of all, before I dive in, let me tell you what this 5 week journey is going to look like. It is about paving your road to revenue. Now, the cool thing is there are free gifts, free. We put together a ridiculously amazing, total not humble brag, not humble, because this was the mastery of some of the smartest people I know, my team, put together a really, really comprehensive kit. Not a download, not a white paper, not a case study, not just one checklist, but a whole kit giving you super, super immediate action items for how to generate more revenue starting immediately. And you guys, this kit is, of course, tactical in nature. Do this, think about this, hold this type of workshop, talk to your team, blah, blah, blah. But more importantly and more excitingly for me is that it's infused with everything we've learned as a small business in 8.5 years, and how we've gotten where we are. And we have so much exciting stuff coming in 2022. It's just ridiculous. So, and that has a lot to do with the seeds that we've planted over the years. And then, of course, it's infused with the stories of our clients and watching what they've gone through and walking alongside of them and just figuring out how do we accelerate the impact that they have in the world. So my one little caveat, and if you guys have seen me on Corporate Caffeine before, you guys know what's coming. But my one caveat is, yes, of course, I'm talking about financial prosperity. Of course, I'm talking about revenue growth. But it is never, ever, ever divorced from or separated from the responsibility that all of us have in order to have impact and influence before you issue an invoice. It is up to you to create a business world full of meaning, connection, and prosperity for all. And marketing and sales is one of the most under-leveraged, underutilized opportunities that you have in order to change the world by just doing what you were gonna do anyways. You just go a little bigger, care a little bit more, be a little bit more awesome. And it is absolutely shocking, mind-blowingly excited what kind of ripples you can send cascading through the business world, in the business world into everyday life and everyday families in all different places. It's so exciting because, in my opinion, marketing, after all, is about connecting people who do not know each other yet together, to solve problems together and to bring more significance or more success or more collaboration or more solutions to the world. That's what marketing does, is it connects smart people to smart people in order to meet needs and desires. So that was my caveat, or my challenge, if you will. And so now I want to go ahead and dive in exactly what we're going to do. So I've promised you free gifts. I'm going to be posting this in the link before, but the kit is on our website, which is themarketingblender.com, so you can download it. I want to just cut to the chase for you guys if we need to. And you are going to go to the resources page on our website, and you will scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you are looking for the Road to Revenue kit. So what's going to happen is when you fill out that short form, you're going to get a series of emails where you download the entire kit, and then you're also going to get some other support and advice in order to help you go through the kit. So wonderful, wonderful. That's where it is. That's the free gift. Download it. If you need to bail now, you've got everything that you need. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and give voice to that. So in week 1, following through the kit, what we are going to cover is we are going to be covering cutting waste out of your business development. One of the fastest ways to generate revenue is to just stop wasting your time, wasting your money, wasting your opportunities. So that is what we're going to cover here in about 5 minutes. Okay. And then in week 2, we are going to be talking about focus. So it's interestingly enough, it is an extension of not wasting what's right in front of you that you could and should be capitalizing on. We are going to be talking about focus to make sure that you are putting all of your resources, all of your energy, all of your hustle into an area that is really going to get that locomotive out of the station and onto that. Well, that's a train track to revenue, not a road to revenue. So excuse my mixed metaphor, but that's okay. That is going to be week 2. There are tons of worksheets. This one especially is a team building exercise and a fun and great one that is very good for culture and collaboration. Week 3, we are going to go through the ABCs of marketing strategy. ABC is actually an acronym and a very practical way to know how to build marketing campaigns with the end in mind. That means we plan for success, not hope for success. So you'll have to plug in. You either have to download it or you have to plug in on week 3 in order to find out what ABC stands for when it comes to building marketing campaigns. We've got another one. Anytime you're on a road trip, you have to stop by the ATM. So you can find out what the ATM for marketing is as well. All right. So that is week 3. In week 4, we are doing all things digital marketing in 2021. I am feeling super inspired and excited lately by what marketing and what the world at large holds for us in the next 5 and even 10 years. Because you know what? I'm done with all of the right now and the blah, blah, blah. And so I am busting through that by really thinking, where are we going? And let's go do it on purpose. I'm not going to wait to find out what happens 5 years from now. I'm going to freaking help create it. So I want you to join me. So that is inspiring me. So we are definitely going to dive into digital marketing and where that's headed. And then that's week 4. And in week 5, one of my favorites, generosity and delight, and what role those profoundly important gifts can play in your financial prosperity and the prosperity of the people that you serve. So that's where we're going to be going. And then we will definitely be diving into your future and a vision that I want to paint for you if you follow along. So lots and lots of checklists. This is a five tool checklist, or not checklist, 5 tool kit. So lots and lots of stuff if you decide to download this. So okay. That gives us about 20 minutes to go ahead and dive in to this week's session. So cutting waste from your business development. So this is always where I like to start in regards to accelerating revenue. Now, this comes from a super, super practical place, both on the client side as well as the personal. And so for me, I will tell you that a number of years ago, it can be very difficult to take your own advice, right? I have heard that great advice about pretend that you're talking to your best friend and what would you tell them if they're facing the same challenge as you. And sometimes that has worked for me by envisioning that person, but sometimes not so much. I'm still just so clouded and so close to the problem that I just am really struggling to think clearly. And so I hired a coach in order to give me some space inside of my own selling processes. I love to sell. It is one of my natural giftings, not to mention that the first 10, gosh, way more than that. I had unbelievable sales training and from some of the best sales managers that to this day I've ever met. And now today I'm surrounded by a lot of brilliant sales trainers and sales leaders. And so I just love this. I think there's so much honor in salesmanship, especially when it's done with integrity. And those are the people that really taught me and that I cut my teeth on. So here we go. Fast forward. I'm several years in on my business journey. We're doing okay, but I am not happy with what I have not achieved. I'm notorious for that. And so I hire a coach in order to give me clarity around where were my blind spots inside of my own sales process. And with his help, I ended up being able to change our sales cycle down from an average of 6 meetings and follow-ups to 2.5. And that continues to this day. That is true for my team members now who follow the same process. And so needless to say, cutting waste out of that business development cycle was huge. Number one, it helped me stop wasting my time. Number two, probably more importantly, it helped me stop wasting my customers' time. And number three, it really allowed me to close more business because I was being more effective when I was in those sales conversations. And here's the irony. I was having 6 meetings because I was thinking too much about myself. But when I really got efficient and started deeply listening and deeply tuning in to what my prospective customers were saying, all the bloat went away. I just didn't need all of those extra meetings, all of those extra talking points, all of that extra sales collateral if I was serving instead of selling. And so not only did it really change the trajectory of how effective we were at bringing in new clients, but also it helped us be better at actually living our mission inside of our business development process. And that felt amazing. So how did we do that? And this has come up numerous times for other clients. One of the things we see commonly is that they've never really thought about what their actual sales process is. They've never, ever used their CRM and customized the sales process. And they've never outlined the steps, including the emotional steps that it takes to get a prospect from stranger to customer. And so that's a huge deal. It's definitely something we look out for frequently, depending on what problems we're hearing when we're working with our clients. So how do we do this? How do we cut waste from your business development? Well, the first is actually, I'm gonna hold off on the sales piece. So I am going to cover it. But the first one I want to talk to you about is just your marketing waste in general. Too often, almost always, what we see is marketing just vomited all over everything. Oh, we've got a webinar. Oh, when the pandemic's not running amok, we've got trade shows like one every other month. Oh, we host an event. Oh, we've got social media. Oh, yeah, we've tried those Google AdWord things, but this, that, and the other. Of course, we've got salespeople. We've tried a call center. It didn't really work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, somebody comes with an idea that they haven't tried before, and they just launch it. And it's really, really makes your effectiveness skinny because you are just spread too thin. Hey, Mark, so good to see you. So that's what we are looking at. And so let me just cut through all of the marketing jargon and tell you the most basic rules you need to know in regards to not wasting money, time, attention, and opportunity inside of marketing. Go where your buyers go. So simple. Go where your buyers go. So if your buyers do not go on Facebook, do not advertise or bother posting on Facebook. If your buyers don't go on LinkedIn, who cares who else is on LinkedIn? If your buyers aren't there, they ain't going to see what you're posting, right? And that goes across all tactics. It goes across all communication strategies, but it also goes to how are you talking about your company and your solution? Because if you're talking about you, they don't care. Boring. Wah, wah, Charlie Brown. So you have to go to the place, to the words that they use to describe their problems. Go where your buyers go. And you need to go to the places where they get information the sources that they trust. So whether you use PR or referral strategies or networking or partnerships or distribution models, you go where they already are, and you go where they are emotionally as well. You use your creative team, your creative campaigns, your creative assets, your branding to resonate with them where they already are. Okay. So that is number one, how you cut waste, because that kind of waste is killing the effectiveness of your campaign. It's killing your team's ability to do their very best work because they're just running busy, busy, busy instead of impactful, impactful, impactful. It's killing your ability to look at the results and see whether or not things are working and what things those are, and to try and implement or cut the stuff that is cutting waste. Just turn off the things that are no longer working, and don't be scared, because if they're not working, it doesn't get worse than that, people. It's amazing. People get very, very scared about stopping what they're doing, even when it's not working. Talk about a blind spot. So make sure that you are paying attention to the places where you are being fear-oriented and very illogical, and that will really help you cut waste. So final thing about cutting waste: do not look at your competition and think, oh, they're doing it, we need to do it. No, no. Go where your buyers go. If they don't go there, if all of the work and thinking that you've done suggests to you that your competition is wasting time, effort, and money, they might be. Okay. They're just human as well. So yes, keep tabs on your competition, but do not copycat them by all means, because you can't see their analytics. You have no idea if it's really working. You're just saying, oh, they're doing it, so do we. Not a good differentiation strategy, and not a servant leadership strategy, because you are not thinking about the market. You're thinking about yourself and the threats to yourself. Okay. So that is part number one of how to immediately cut marketing. Ironically, I want you to slow down in order to speed up. I want you to go deeper instead of wider. You really need to earn the right to go wider. Be amazing. I mean, LinkedIn is a perfect example for me. Number of years ago, I realized there is no way I can stay on top of all of the Instagram work that needs to be done. And most of my buyers were not on Instagram at that time. Most are still not. Some more, but not by and large all of them. I didn't have the time to do YouTube very early, and it was still a fledgling platform, and I really was just too distracted to focus on that. My buyers in general were not on Facebook, and so I doubled down on LinkedIn. I just picked one. I'm a freaking marketer, for God's sake. I own a marketing agency. We do omni-channel campaigns all the time for our clients. But because I was not one of my clients, I am a small business. We were a small team. We didn't have enough resources to do them all. And our research and our strategy showed they ain't there. So let's not go spend time, attention, and money in places that our buyers weren't. And so we didn't do those platforms early on. Now we have since added on and championed different things, but I doubled down on LinkedIn. And to this day, I mean, it is one of my biggest sources. But you have to plant a seed, and you have to use consistency in order to water it and nurture it. And then you've got to have that patience in order to harvest it as an increasingly powerful channel, no matter which one it is. Double down, and then add using the best practices that you've learned with the time and attention that you have freed up for yourself to look at what's working, to kill what's not, and to learn from people that have done it really, really white. So really, really white. I still can't say that. Good heavens. All right, moving on. So that's what it is. So the other piece, and I already mentioned this about slowing down in order to speed up. Another place that I see massive waste of companies of all sizes is lack of follow-up. And here's what I mean. So you launch something where you have a worthy download, and somebody is like, ooh, that's a great guide or a really cool trend report. And then nobody does anything with all the leads that are coming in. There's no nurture. There's no email campaigns written. There's no encouragement for them to follow you on social media. There's no great content going out. You do nothing to be follow worthy except that very first thing. You did not build an ecosystem that encourages them and invites them to learn from you and to grow because of what you're putting out. You just slapped something up on your website or something up in an ad and it worked, and then it didn't because there was nobody following up with that. Huge piece of waste. Follow up in sales cycles or trade shows or even live events. There is a lot of work and preparation that needs to go into prepping a trade show or even a remote event, to being successful, to nurturing it during the show, and then on top of that, to make sure that you have pre-built and pre-planned the follow-up that both marketing and sales is going to be responsible for. And then on top of that, you need to hold people accountable. So if you get leads from that trade show, which you better, because if you're not, why are you still doing them? If you have leads, if you have business contacts, if you have names, if you have any, clear outreach to them, are you utilizing it to maximum effectiveness? Are you saying something interesting and worthy? Are you actually utilizing these? So really, really be thoughtful. The other thing is look at your data. If you don't like data, find someone who does, or tap someone on your team who does. Because in regards to data, you don't need to be an analyst in order to sort all of it through. What data is supposed to help you do is ask smart questions. And those smart questions encourage better collaboration in your team and with any partners that you have in business development. And then you find the action items that you can move and increase your effectiveness, or basically just move into a place of continuous improvement. Slow down, find out if it's working. This is so frequent of companies of all size. Let me repeat that, of all size, that people have no idea if what they're doing is working. They are tracking progress. We launched it, instead of results. Side note, sometimes people watch results so much, but then they don't hold their teams or themselves accountable. So they've got all these ideas. They're just stalled. And they're watching the numbers saying, especially the revenue numbers saying, it's not working. Well, of course it's not working. You haven't launched anything new. And, it doesn't matter how much you talk about it. It's not out there. It's not where your buyers are going. Good heavens, right? So you've got to track both progress as well as results. But you've got to actually do that intentionally. The data is not just going to jump out and tell you, hello, alert, it's working. Side note, you can automate that stuff, but guess what? You have to slow down in order to create automations in order to let you know if it's working. So anyways, lack of follow-up, massive waste. You guys, y'all are probably doing so much that are generating leads. And you might be like, oh, 3 leads is not enough. But did you really work those leads? Did you really qualify them? Did you really follow up on every possible thing? If you're driving any traffic or any interest anywhere, are you really maximizing what you're doing and what's right in your lap? Because most people, when their leads really start shrinking, or when their effectiveness or the market starts changing, they get so freaked out about what's not coming in that then they don't do the one thing they're supposed to do, which is go ahead and convert those leads into business. The other place is you probably have customers where you can bring more value to. Harvest what you've already planted. Don't just let those seeds dry up and, poof into the sun from no follow-up. Huge place of waste in regards to business development. Okay. And then of course, the third one that I wanted to bring up to you guys was cutting your waste from the sales cycle. So I already teased this one earlier. I'm going to start with a principle about this. And the principle, the paradigm shift that I want you to make when it comes to your sales cycle is I want you to imagine that you are a partner in the buying process. Okay. Let me say that again. That you are a partner in the buying process, not somebody on the opposite side of the table that is involved in the selling of something. So what I mean by that is on your first meeting all the way through, you are listening deeply and intently. You have pre-planned each meeting. You have done your research. You are trying to bring impact before and even if you don't ever issue an invoice, and you are literally thinking, walking in their shoes, Is our solution the right one for the pains and the problems that I'm hearing them communicate to me? So that means in the very, very beginning, you are helping them get crystal clear on what is it the problem that they are trying to solve. And you are being honest about whether or not you solve that problem. And if you do, give them examples, tell them stories about how that, tell them how that outcome, give them advice. Think back to the advice that we've been given from different times. If you were talking to your best friend, what would you say to them if they came to you with that same problem? Be a partner in helping them figure out how to move forward, right? So that is a significant paradigm shift, but it actually changes your sales process as well. You've got to be very good at questioning. And I don't mean the traditional consultative selling, right? Because by the way, people are too busy for these bloated sales conversations where you're asking questions that you probably know the answers to anyways. You've got to go to the deep end faster. And you've got to help your client see whether there is a business case towards solving this problem or not. And if you are walking in integrity in that, man, it will cut out a whole bunch of waste. And then on top of that, tailor your message, tailor and customize your solution to exactly what they're saying. Do not talk about you. Do not talk about your case studies if that case study does not help someone have an aha moment about themselves, not about your product, right? Help them help themselves and partner with them. Ask them about their buying process, right? If they have some slowdowns, they will tell you. It's amazing. People get so frustrated, wasting time inside of sales cycles. The worst competition that business to business companies face is a lost sale due to no decision. A lost sale due to no decision. That means a buyer or even a group of decision makers, which is very common, went through this long process of interviewing you and your competitors and researching all of this. And they eventually got so overwhelmed and so exhausted by the process that they freaking quit trying to solve that problem until they had enough steam and motivation to come back to it sometime in the future. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. You in the sales position, in a servant leadership position, should not allow that to happen because so much waste just happened, not only inside of your company, but inside of theirs too. You need to care more about their outcomes than you care about yours. And let me tell you, people, it is a game changer. So I'll give you an example just from this past week as I'm wrapping up. I was speaking to a small business. Now, he has an absolutely amazing platform. He's really created some incredible success. It is this military job finder, absolutely incredible. And he's wanting to expand his business. He's got a healthy budget. However, in regards to how we approach marketing and looking at some of the really low-lying fruit that he had in front of him to cut waste from his business development cycle and to get some really obvious traction because of going where your buyers go, I was concerned that we were not the right fit because I thought, well, there's some really obvious stuff they can do inside. And I'm just going to give him some advice, tell him the truth about what I'm hearing, and help him make a better decision. Now, he's come back 2 times. Then I said, I don't think we're the right fit for you. This is the advice here. I want you to go, research this, think through that. And yes, I do know that we can help them. But the deal is I care more about them stewarding their resources wisely so that they can use their absolutely amazing vision, an amazing tool. By the way, it's called yourjobpath.com. Check it out. They're so cool. I really care more about them having significance and success in this world because they can really help people that very much need their exact kind of expertise and help way more than I care about landing them as a client. And so I always tell people, whether I say it explicitly or whether it's more of an implied and it's just an anchoring point for me, but I always think, okay, I'm going to end every single sales scenario in one of 2 ways. I am either going to end with a friend or I am going to end as a partner and a collaborator to someone. And guess what? Both of those are winning. Both of those are winning. But you've got to flip that paradigm and you've got to choose impact over invoice throughout your business development. But let me tell you, if you truly have a culture that has servant leadership and you really have this desire to unleash and have limitless thinking in regards to how could you change the world? What if your business could be bigger? What if your own individual potential could be bigger than just the task at hand? Damn, like this is the way to do it. It feels incredible. And by the way, going full circle back to the conversation earlier, this is how you bring honor to salesmanship, because you're being an outstanding steward of your mastery and your knowledge and your company's mission. So I know that is a mouthful. It's one that I get so excited about, and I really, really, really want you to make that shift and to really find out for your own heart and also for your own prosperity, both organizationally and individually. I want you to find out what it feels like on the other side when you put caring in front of everything that you do, because that generosity principle will create acceleration in regards to your personal success and your revenue success. And then on top of that, guess what? When you are deeply listening, it is amazing how people tell on themselves, and they will tell you exactly how to help them, exactly what they need. They will tell you exactly how to innovate, exactly how to serve them better, and they will tell you exactly who they will refer to you if you choose to listen, as long as you make sure that this is collaborative and not combative, right? And unfortunately, too many people see selling as an us versus them, and that is absolutely insane. How are you ever going to onboard a successful partnership when you didn't start as a successful partner? Good God. So obviously you can tell I get really, really excited because there's just so much opportunity. But you guys, this is a headspace thing. So slow down in order to speed up. Go deeper instead of wider. You've got to earn the right to go wider. Be very, very thoughtful about your sales process and whether or not you can implement clear and actionable ways, and think through changes that you yourself can make in regards to bringing servant leadership to the front of that and using it as a differentiation strategy, because you're being awesome. And just think through the principle of cutting waste out of all of your marketing and out of all of your business development, because it's everywhere. Side note to any of my lean manufacturers out there, they are loving this. It's just too bad that so many manufacturers won't listen to marketing conversations. Oh, well, what are you going to do? One battle at a time, right? So Jai, it's so good to see you. Dwight, yes, critical follow-up during this pandemic. Data is all over the place. You are so right. Dwight had a question. With these constant changes, isn't it important to have multiple game changers? Yes and no. And we're really, thank you for this segue, because we are really going to be diving into that next week. Because you've got to think from an ecosystem standpoint, but not if it's killing your focus and your ability to create traction in different places. And so my company's name, The Marketing Blender, obviously I am a big proponent of a healthy marketing mix, blending things up, making sure you don't have all of your eggs in one basket. I mean, just really trying to scramble things and letting the opportunities rise to the surface. So yes and no. And I love that question. Thank you so much, because we're definitely diving into that next week. And I just really appreciate all of you guys. So one final reminder, Road to Revenue. It is a kit. It is a free gift on my website. Let me see if it will let me share my screen. Let's see here so you can see what the kit actually looks like, because it is very cool. So got a kit. We've got part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all sorts of exciting things. Hopefully you guys are able to see that. And I encourage you to find that. So go to themarketingblender.com, go to the resources page, and scroll all the way down to the bottom. You will see it in the bottom left-hand corner. And I will also have the hyperlink in the comments. So thank you so much. I am so sad I'm out of time today, because I have so many things that are inspiring me this week. I love when I get a little bit of additional space to think and just to let creativity and the inspiration seek in, but probably you can hear it in my voice that I'm just there, right? So, all right, my loves, you guys go Be awesome, care more, go big, have an amazing week. Don't wait. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time to plant a tree is right now. Find the action steps that you can take right now to launch your ideas and to go bigger in your potential and your impact in the business world. So onward and upward. I will see y'all next week on Corporate Caffeine at 12:30 Central Wednesdays. Bye.